surprise. He is playing. He's also playing Sneak and Show. He's going to be on the right.
This is Omnitel.
But he has Omniscience in his deck. So
Yeah.
no
sneak
sneak
deck.
attacks.
Yeah, it's the
Just Show and Tells.
Yep, Burning Wish for Show and Tell. Looks like. Did we miss it? Wrong one. Ah. Okay. Oh, we have Chris Cornwell Shiel back from yesterday. He was the one playing the creatureless Grixis control deck. And yet again, he's playing the lol what in the creatures category. He looks like he's playing a artifact-based countertop Tezzeret deck with Thopter Sword as the kill con.
Okay.
He has an Astronaut's Altar to go infinite with Thopter Sword.
Oh,
1 mana, make a token, gain a life, sack the token for 2 mana.
Alright.
Yeah. It's pretty absurd.
So he has Tezzeret the Seeker.
Yeah, Tezzeret the Seeker is
So when we think of Tezzeret, we think of the Agent of Bolas.
Yeah, the Agent of Bolas has seen play in Affinity, in the Caleb Durwood open winning deck.
Mm-hmm.
He has the Seeker. He wants to find his Crucible, his Thopter Foundry.
Yeah, it is.
He does not have an Ensnaring Bridge in a 75, which is something that I usually associate with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's something that'll be somewhat helpful in this matchup if Steven has to show a actual creature instead of an Omni.
Yeah, so Steven is built a little bit differently from the Sneak and Show decks.
Yep.
He's using the card he wants to show and tell into play is Omniscience.
Yep.
Once all your spells are free, your Emrakul takes an extra turn.
Yep.
Your Gristlebrand gets to cast all the cards you draw for free.
And your Burning Wish finds Petals of Insight.
Yeah, and then you have
onto the draft uncommons box again.
Yeah.
Petals of Insight is a 4 and a blue sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may put them on the bottom of your library in any order. If you do, return Petals to your hand. If you don't, put those cards into your hand and Petals into your graveyard. So you can loop through your deck using Petals for Infinite Storm. If your deck is not a multiple of 3 cards, you can, in theory, stack your deck any way you want by moving cards through different stack iterations of 3s.
But for the most part, you're just going to
find a Burning Wish.
Find another, play a million times, play Petals of Insight a million times.
Yeah.
And then put a Burning, keep going until you draw a Burning Wish.
Which
a second Burning Wish. The second Burning Wish finds Grape Shot
for
Infinite Storm. Yeah.
So it looks like Steven has an aggressive Jace this game. Chris's deck is actually just stacked on counter magic. He has 3 counterbalance, and then he also has Force of Will, a counterspell, Spell Pierces in the main, another force on the board. So he's pretty well set up for this matchup. There we go. Force of Will getting cast on this Jace.
Altered Force of Will.
Removing Tezzeret the Seeker. Steven allows this to resolve. He is playing 4 Days as his backup permission.
Yeah.
Steven's deck, which is
actually a card I do not like in these decks.
Yeah, I could agree.
You need your land drops a lot of times, and it doesn't really counter much.
It doesn't really count as a card usually.
Yeah.
So Chris is going to Enlighten Tutor on Steven's end step after that Jace gets countered.
It looks like he's
finding an Oblivion Ring to cut off Show and Tell, which is a huge beating against this version of Show and Tell because it cannot win with an Oblivion Ring on the stack. Whatever it shows and tells into play
can
dies,
get an Oblivion Ring,
and it can't actually go off without casting a Show and Tell. So this is one reason I like Vendilion Click in this deck.
Yeah, or at least
yeah, something that can stop that. And it's worth noting that this is an Oblivion Ring, not a Detention Sphere. It cannot be Pyroblasted.
Okay. He does have a Detention Sphere as well.
Yes. Oblivion Ring in the sideboard. Probably for this exact purpose. And there are Pyroblasts in the sideboard on Steven's side.
Yeah, he has 3 Pyroblasts probably in the deck. Not sure what the game count is, but neither player has
game 3.
Neither player, not a ton of time, but we are in game 3.
Yes.
What is the black mana? We see an Underground Sea for Chris Cornwell Shield. What is the black mana for?
There's an Engineered Explosives. I'm working on it.
Yeah, because there's 2 Underground Seas. It's not like
It can cast Thopter Foundry, but it could just be a Tundra.
Right.
Okay,
That's
so
interesting.
Jace, no. Tezzeret, no. Top, Tutor, Swords, Brainstorm. A Jace resolves for Chris, which likely should be enough to seal this game away pretty quickly, as Jace tends to do in this format.
Basically, Steven has to go for something very quick, and he doesn't really have the capability of doing that, considering the Oblivion Ring in Chris's hand. However, he does have an Echoing Truth. So if Steven has a perfect set of cards, he can win this game.
I don't see anything these undergrounds he's cast, aside from Engineered Explosives for 3.
It'll be interesting to see what Steven puts into play. Like, a Gristlebrand can draw him 7.
Yeah. Let's see. Show and Tell on the stack.
Chris deciding whether or not he wants to counter it or just put his Oblivion Ring on top.
So the really weird thing in this situation is that there's this mini game where Steven could not put anything into play. Okay, so how you're supposed to resolve this is both players write it down. If one player writes down nothing and the other writes down something, I've actually seen this humility. Oh no. Is that game? Echoing Truth. Oh no. Chris opted not to put the Oblivion Ring into play. And
well, either way, Steven had a...
Emrakul takes another turn. Chris suddenly lost this from a position where he had the Oblivion Ring to take that out regardless.
Well, he had the Oblivion Ring, but what could have happened, he takes out the Omniscience, Steven Echoing Truths the Oblivion Ring.
Oh, yeah.
Gets back his Omniscience, and then casts his Emrakul.
Okay, fair.
So, unless Chris has a counterspell